What's up, guys? Blade Master here, and with yet another Rome 2 Total War battle replay. And this is an online battle that I played against Attila the Great. Yep. So I'm just going on like a playing against celebrities. So maybe tomorrow you'll find me playing against Prince of Macedon or Heir of Carthage or something. I hope I don't play Prince of Macedon. I don't really like it. Anyways, I've taken Carthage and he's taken Rome, and I've gone with a very unorthodox build, especially considering the current metagame. I've taken 5 African pikes, and behind them I've taken 4 Cretan archers, and I've brought 2 mercenary companions and 2 Scutari cav each, an Indian or African war elephant gen, and 1 Italian swordsman. So very pike heavy build, and considering the past couple of uploads, I'm sticking to the heavy pike format and seeing how that works for me. So far, it's worked quite well. Um, I haven't really no, I haven't lost a match with this pike build yet. Um, but let's see how well I do. I mean, I've only played on quick battle and stuff like that, so I haven't played against the greatest opponents. So let's see how I do against Attila, because we know that that's going to be a pretty massive challenge to beat him, especially with the pike build. So let's see how I play. Now, Attila has gone with a bit more, a bit more traditional army. He's gotten, 5 Evocati cohorts. No, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, he does have 5 Evocati cohorts. He's also got a legionary cohort and 2 auxiliary Syrian archers, a Vigiles, Legatus General, or General Bodyguard, and he's also gone pretty cav heavy. He's bought 2 spear gladiatrices. They're the female gladiators, and they're also spear units. So they're very capable units. But same weaknesses as regular gladiator spearmen, i.e. low armor. He's also got auxiliary cav, equites, and a Saki extraordinary on his left, and a Saki extraordinary and an auxiliary cav on his right. He's also brought another Vigiles. No, yeah, he's brought another Vigiles to support that flank because he's got less cavalry. Now he did bring his Vigiles up in front as missile fodder, but I turn off fire at will because I don't want to waste my ammo. And instead, I put heavy shot when his Evocatis are coming in, and just the Cretans on heavy shot will always be very deadly. So since I've got 5 pikes and I've put them in such an expansive formation, it's very hard for him to try and outmaneuver me. He does have the cavalry to do it, but I have a lot of cavalry myself, and they are quite capable cavalry. So now he's engaging his Evocatis with my African pikes, and African pikes are very capable pike units, incredibly capable. And they're just gonna kill these Evocatis no problem, or at the very least hold out for the rest of the game. Now I see him, moving out with his cavalry, and I decide to catch some of them with my mercenary Scutari. And he did bring his Syrian archers very close, and wanted to get some flaming shots. But luckily, I moved my gen in time to attack this cav flank. Over here, I did catch his auxiliary cav with my Scutari, but they're about to die very soon. The reason that I just brought them was to only catch his cavalry, and meanwhile I'm sending my mercenary companions to kill these to help kill off these Evocatis sooner. These Evocatis are dropping pretty quickly, and unfortunately he made a mistake with I think he set an attack order on my elephants, and they just kept charging and went straight into my pikes. Now he pulled out one of his Saki extraordinary, and to counter that, I pulled back one of my mercenary companions and attacked them in front. So Saki extraordinary aren't great cavalry, and they won't do very well, especially against an elite unit like companions. But so far, my despite the fact that my Scutari have died, my African elephants have done quite well. Over here, it's not looking good though. He has mopped up the cav flank. I mean, it was only one unit, but meanwhile, the companion cavalry that I have left is just rampaging across his Roman line. Um, Meanwhile, my African pikes are doing quite well. They're racking up the kills, 85, 80, 139 on all of them. And now I see him, moving with his general, and so I reverse my pikes. So this is a pretty handy tactic if you have a lot of pikes, and if your opponent's not paying attention, he'll just like run straight into your pikes because he'd think he'll have a rear charge. That's not what happened in this game because of course Attila is very good. But so he notices all this is happening, and he stops at the right time, even though he is in danger of like losing some of his men. His Some of his general and bodyguard units are getting pretty close to my pikes. Meanwhile, his legionary or Evocati cohort have all died. My companions have done brilliantly, 228 kills on one of them, and the other one is sticking it out and fighting with these auxiliary cav. Meanwhile, my African elephants are out there to help. He does have a spear gladiatrices unit, which is going to be very deadly, and yeah, these guys are dying quite soon. They're bogged down, and there's a lot of spear units, a lot of cavalry, so it's not looking very good for them. My Cretan archers have all died, which is a pretty big blow for me. But a lot of his, something that's in my favor is that he's lost a lot of his units too, and now his spear gladiatrices is just wandering around and about to attack my African pikes. So I'm going to get a rear charge off with my companions on these guys or on these girls. My African elephants are still sticking it out. I thought that they would die a lot sooner, but I don't think he turned on killing spree, so that might help. Now these guys are getting a rear charge on the spear gladiatrices, and even though they have expert charge defense, they just don't have the armor to withstand a charge from such a strong unit, especially when it's in the rear. I see he's got another Evocati cohort coming in, and as you can see, my African pikes are pretty vulnerable. It's just I've basically done an inverse box, so they are vulnerable to attacks from the rear. Now I did put one of my units, to face his Roman units, just like slight mind games, to see maybe if he might just be tempted to attack these pikes, and they wouldn't be facing his cavalry. They would actually instead be facing his infantry. But meanwhile, his companion cav, look at them, 360 kills and counting. Holy shit! But now he is attacking one of my pikes in the rear, and you can just see how strong they are because they've been attacked in the rear. And usually, when you do this to regular pikes, they would die almost, or they would rout almost instantly. But these guys are just holding on, and I've put brace on so they won't rout immediately. If they do, that's a pretty big disadvantage for me. And now it's not really looking very good for me. Um, my companion is still alive, which is a big deal, and it's still half strength. But now I'm just trying to shore up my pike line. Both of my pikes or both my sides are, they're not connected, which is a pretty bad, deal for me. And now I see him trying to attack with his Evocatis, and I turn my Afro pikes just in time. And now I coordinate a nice rear charge with my companion cab as well. So his Vigiles are going to die very soon, and then they've just got some legionary cohorts to deal with, and those guys aren't going to be much of a threat. But he has killed one of my pikemen, and he's got a nice flank charge with one of his auxiliary cav on my other pikes. And seeing this is what I decided to do. I put one of my pikes like this, so they're going to be facing the cav, and then pull back with the other cav. Now you might have noticed Armenian King did something very similar against me in that sense, and since they've got a move order, all they're going to do is just rush into those pikes. So you've seen him lose a couple of men there. Now my companions who have stuck it out so well are starting to waver, but they've got 460 kills, which is some kind of record. I'm sure it is some sort of record. But I started to click attack orders on his legionary cohorts with some of my pikes, and I think a better move right now would have just been to start the pike box, and I am starting to do that. I've still put I've still got somewhat of a line, which is good news for me. But now I can see him trying to get another rear charge in with his auxiliary cavalry. So again, it's just about turning them. I don't time it well, so they do lose some men. But that's the good part of African pikes. They are so strong that you can afford to have a couple of timing mistakes with these guys, and they will still, they won't do too bad. Now he thought that this pike was facing in this direction because this unit of pikes was facing in this direction, but they weren't, and so he's just charged his Saki Extraordinary straight into my pike line. And meanwhile, once they killed the once they killed the auxiliary pikes or the auxiliary cav, I immediately just press J to turn them around, and now they're going to face his legionary cohorts and his general and bodyguard unit head on. So another good, piece of good news for me. And now I've finally completed the pike box, and it's going to be very hard for him to win this game now. It's not really a square, but it's a box nonetheless. And at this time it's GG. You can see that there's a big countdown in the timer left, and that's just patch 14 balancing issues or whatever the fuck it is. Anyways, his Evocati cohort is was wavering and now it's shattered. And at this point we're just like talking because this is the first game that we've ever played. So I was just like talking to him and shooting the shit. He does have one auxiliary Syrian archer, which is wavering, but it's firing. So uh, I wasn't really paying attention at this point, but they are getting some kills on my African pikes. It's not like they're going to win the game for him, but it is kind of irritating. I'm just going to keep forwarding until I keep forwarding, and then I'll let you know what happens. Uh, so now I, I reform my box, and then I decide there's no point in keeping them in phalanx. So I just rush his final unit of archers with four of my pikes. So here they are. One of them starts to waver and rout because he just kept getting a lot of arrow fire on them. So they did get a lot of kills from 5 to 67 in the last minute, which is quite good. But I've got three almost full strength units left, and they're not with pikes. They're with their silly little short swords. Looks like Falcaras from here, honestly. But yeah, they're gonna attack these Syrian archers. And another thing, I mean, they're not bad with swords, especially against archers. I mean, you'd never want to keep them in melee and like in swords and shields, except if you want to fight them against like archers and shitty units like that. So yep, that's the end of this game. His final unit of archers decides to rout. Very good game and a lot of fun to play this game. And I was honestly not expecting to win. It's a big bonus that I did because I was very afraid of bringing five African pikes because they're very expensive. So for a pike unit, levy pikes cost 450, whereas these guys cost 700, which is a massive difference. But they definitely proved their worth. 76, 124, 170, 100, and 144 kills. They single-handedly, no, I'm not going to say single-handedly, but they were a major part in routing all of his Evocati cohorts and some of his auxiliary cav as well. But Jesus Christ, look at this mercenary companion cav with almost 500 kills versus Roman infantry. That is just brilliant. These are some incredibly capable units. And I think it was a very good idea that I used the Scutari cav to just catch all of his cav and then use the time that I had to start engaging his Roman infantry with my companions as soon as possible. My African War Elf and Gen did quite well too. 238 kills is not bad, especially considering a lot of those kills were cavalry. I could have used my Cretan archers a lot better, um, but all in all, it was good. They did well too. They got some heavy shots on these avocados, so definitely reduced their HP. My mercenary Italian swords, I didn't really commentate on this, but they did quite well because I just set them on the spear gladiator, one of the extra spear gladiatrices units, and I think they routed without routing the spear unit. But I mean, all in all, they did okay. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. Peace.